Hi, this is Sue for Parkies and Me, My Journey with Parkinson's. Tonight I thought I'd talk about some future-proofing thoughts that I'm having this evening. And the primary thing that we did was to move into a new house. So I just wanted to talk about the reasons behind doing that sooner than probably people might think was necessary. So we had lived in this house that we loved, and it was a 2-storey, 5-bedroom house, obviously with stairs, and we both loved that house very much. It was the first house that we bought together, and it was just perfect for the time when we bought it. And we lived in there and had our grandchildren to stay for the first time when they were 2, and we've had room for guests, room for the grandchildren, room for a study each, and obviously our bedroom. So yeah, it was a great house. But after I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, it set me thinking. And one day, I think it was 2020, I said to my husband, I need to talk to you about our house. And he said, what about our house? And I said, I think we need to look at downsizing and moving to a single story. Now, my husband was obviously sort of taken aback a bit on this because it might have seemed to come out of the blue. And he said to me, we don't need to change our house for ages. You know, your Parkinson's is only new, you don't have any mobility issues. You know, it suits us really well. I don't want to rush into things. And he had several good points on that, and we did both love that house. But as I said to him, we would, in all likelihood, need to move into a smaller home at some stage, and certainly without steps. My reasoning was that I didn't want to have to do that in a hurry, that we moved and I didn't have the capacity either physically or mentally to fully engage in the choosing of that house if it was sort of a bit of a crisis point because I'd been falling and having trouble with stairs. So as I said to my husband, if we moved sooner rather than later before it was absolutely necessary, then we would have that opportunity, the two of us, to look around, see what houses were for sale, see what we liked, and choose something, not in a hurry, not in a desperate need kind of situation, but see what's out there and ultimately try to get a house that we both liked and downsize to it. So like I said, we absolutely loved our previous house. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I haven't talked about this in my podcasts, but I have talked about it in my blog, that it was important to me to be fully involved in the process, fully involved in the finding of a home, fully involved in informing my husband and others what I needed in a house. So when we started looking, we looked at a number of different houses, and they all had small bedrooms, or they didn't have more than one bathroom. You know, we were spoilt with rather a large ensuite in the other house. But, you know, there were various things that weren't quite right. And what we actually needed was a couple of things. And these are the things to think about as things progress with the Parkinson's. So the first thing is, did it have a wide hall? So a wide hall is important because you're going to have a walker at some stage in all likelihood, and to be able to navigate the hall without bashing it around too much, because, you know, I know even now I have a little bit of trouble navigating through doorways, and that's, I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, it is difficult, and I do bang into the odd bit of wall from time to time. So it needs to be a reasonably wide hall to enable you to get through it without absolutely damaging yourself or the wall. When I stepped into the toilet, I said to my husband it had a good turning circle. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and he said, a what? And I said, a good turning circle. You know, if you've got a walker, you need to be able to walk in holding on to your walker, and to turn it round so that you can then sit down safely and then get up safely again. And I tested, not that I had a walker at the time, but I walked in there and said, yeah, this has got a great turning circle. The other thing I mentioned was stairs. If you're staying in your home, because you love it and you've been there for years. That's absolutely your call. But the thing that I was thinking about was, if we moved sooner rather than later, if we chose a house that suited my and our future needs, if we moved sooner, I would get some time to actually live in it and love living in it before I had to go into residential care. If I stubbornly stayed in the previous house with quite a lot of stairs, it would in all likelihood be likely to lead to me needing to go into residential care sooner, because the cost of a stair lift, the difficulty of getting it in, all those sorts of things. And the house would become, obviously big, and my husband would have to do everything in it. And unfortunately, with my latest problem with my back, he's had to do most of the heavy lifting and all of the housework and cooking and all those sorts of things. Now he's had a taste of what it could be like. But because we've moved into a single story place, it will mean in all likelihood, I'm sure, that if things start to get difficult for me in the house, the main things would be being able to shower myself and get dressed and toilet myself. Now, even if I can't do it myself, if we have a walk-in shower, I can get somebody to help me with my showering and then dressing afterwards. If I didn't have a walk-in shower and there wasn't the capacity to put one in, that again could be a reason why I might need to go into residential care sooner. So we have actually got organised someone to put in a wet floor shower for us, so that if I need help at any stage, I have got the ability to get someone to help me. So that is something that's really important. Thinking about those things. Do you want to hang on to a house that's maybe got lots of memories, has suited you for years and that you love? Do you want to hang on to that and stay there? And in doing so, will that perhaps mean that you need to go into residential care sooner? Just something to think about. We're also going to put some handrails in the bathroom, so that's going to be handy for getting showered, etc. And for me and my husband, I think we have shown and proven that move to a single-story house has been a really good thing for us to do. I've had a knee operation in this house and I would have struggled to get up the stairs. I've had this back operation and I definitely wouldn't have been able to get up the stairs. And in choosing this house, it means that it may delay my having to go into residential care for some time. I have no mobility issues with my Parkinson's as yet. The mobility issues are all about my back, and that's going to come right. So I just thought I'd talk about that and just talk with each other and consider where you're living. Do you want to stay in that house because of memories? Memories are always going to be there for you. You don't need to physically be in the house to have those memories. Whatever your reason for staying in that house, I feel myself that it was a powerful thing for me to do, to drive the mission to get us a bit more of a future-proofed house, so that both of us could be actively engaged in that process. And when we moved on moving day, it brought home to me that if I'd been further down the track, I wouldn't have been able to help with packing, I wouldn't have been able to help with unpacking, I wouldn't have been able to put things in my pantry, I wouldn't have been able to do much of anything. And I was able to fully engage in helping with moving in and unpacking things. So yeah, just a bit of a thought, just me thinking about what's important. Is it important to stay in your house because of memories, or is it important to move into a single story where you can create new memories and you can stay longer? Obviously, everybody's an individual and have their own thoughts, but I think it's good to start that conversation with each other. Would you ever sell your house? If so, when? What would be the flag that says we need to consider it? or is the flag raised already? So just sharing my experience of the reasons why we moved house, the validation that we get every day that this is the house that we can stay in longer. And we loved our previous house, but we certainly grew to love this house as soon as we moved in. So this is just a little bit of a discussion, not a discussion, this is just me sharing how we came to be where we are, and maybe helping you to start thinking about your priorities in relation to your housing. This has been Sue for Parkies and Me, My Journey with Parkinson's. Kia kaha, be brave, be strong, be you.